Oregon is in the mix for a quarterback, a 5-star quarterback who is going to make his decision today, on Tuesday. Ryder Lyons, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think he is ranked 5th in the overall quarterback rankings. He's 17th in the 2026 class overall. A 5-star quarterback, like I said, 6'2", from Folsom, California. This is a player that in the past, BYU football would be able to flirt with, right? Because he's an LDS guy, family member, a ton of which went to BYU. His brother plays tight end at USC right now. So that's kind of in the picture, especially as we move forward on a day like today. He's an extremely religious guy, takes his faith seriously. It's on the table that he'll quite possibly do a mission next year. So he may not actually be on the football field or in the quarterback room till 2027. So you have to look towards guys like Bear Bachmeier, right? Maybe to kind of hold the fork down until a guy like Ryder Lyons could come to BYU. And would he be the next coming of Steve Young? Now, that's the question. Now, the reason I mentioned the Big 12 and the fact that it really elevates the identity of BYU is kind of simple, right? Like, of course there's NIL. I mean, and that has opened the door for so many athletes around the country to get theirs, right? Maybe sometimes we look at it and we say more of theirs than they know what to do with, but hey, it's like we said in the first segment, right? The Caitlin Clark situation, Sophie Cunningham making money on her back. If there is a real public interest and someone can do something that nobody else can do, or they can command that value, that's it, man. You know, if you bring people to the table with your skill set, you're going to get paid. And we're seeing that now in college football too. Players are finally getting paid, and they're getting paid a lot. AJ DeBonsa is an example. The reason I bring him up right now, of course, because we're talking about BYU, but we're also talking about the Big 12 and its impact on the profile of BYU athletics, enabling them to open the door for players like Ryder Lyons and players like AJ DeBonsa. You sit down with a recruit, right? Especially a college football recruit, okay? Because in college basketball, you can say, hey, you come to the Big 12. This is one of the best conferences, if not the best basketball conference in America, right? Well, for the Big 12, you can say the same thing. You can say, okay, here we are. We have a seat at the table as far as the college football playoff is concerned, right? And now we're still in an environment where the Big 12 has the best quarterbacking class in the entire country right now, coming in to play this season, right? Now, it may not be one of the most celebrated football conferences because everybody's going to have to go behind the Big 10 and the SEC. That's just life, right? But the Big 12 as a recruiting tool for BYU and an entree into the college football playoff and the opportunity to play against some of the best players, right? Defenses, whatever you want to say, in the country to improve your draft status. It's hard to deny the fact that BYU, I would think, going into this afternoon where Ryder Lyons is going to announce where he's going to school, I got to believe they say that BYU and Oregon are the top dogs right now, right? So you got Kalani Sitake and Dan Lanning on pins and needles the afternoon. I can guarantee Dan Lanning won't jump into a pool with them, but you get the idea. People are going to be really excited for this decision and for what is coming down this afternoon. And a lot of folks in Provo will be. I mean, BYU football, I think, has only had, like in the past 15 years that I can remember, like 2 5-star recruits, like, play for the Cougars. I think that's accurate, right? So Ryder Lyons could be the answer to the quarterback situation of the future. As for right now, and just listening to Mitch Harper talk yesterday, and it's a reminder of, look, I think that BYU football will keep rolling, right? Without Jake Retzloff, because the defense, I believe, has gotten so much better. And again, you talk about the big play or the Big 12. I think their defense and that third year playing as a power program, the athleticism and the size continues to reflect and improve a reflection of exactly what a power program looks like in the Big 12, right? So, like, I think that defense has gotten better. We've talked about a lot of the transfers with Jake Hatch. There's a lot of positive things going on with the BYU defense. As far as offense is concerned, there's a gap, right, between Jake Retzloff and the rest of that quarterback room. Here is one opportunity that we could see, and this was kicked around a little bit yesterday. There's a possibility that someone else, not named Jake Retzloff, right, will start. And who knows whether that's McKay Hillstead, whether that's Trayson Bourget. We're not sure, right? But, like, there's a gap between them and Jake Retzloff. Now, there's a possibility that one of those two dudes starts, and then 4 or 5 games into the season or 3 games into the season, Bear Bachmeier takes over. And you've got a situation where it was like Tanner Mangum and Zach Wilson in 2018. So there's all kinds of possibilities for BYU. But the future is now as far as finding a way and the possibility of getting a 5-star recruit to Provo on the football field, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Scotty Swingler, let me ask you, as a card-carrying Baylor superfan, if the Bears...
Ooh, I like that. Let's keep that title.
If the Bears were in the conversation for a 5-star quarterback like Ryder Lyons, realistically, what kind of hopes would you pin to a prospect like this? By the way, this guy's got a podcast every Saturday.
Well,
called "Please Bear With Me."
During
starting the football season, right? Terrence Ganaway joins him.
I don't mean to
5 touchdowns in a bowl game.
Pete, I'm guilty of 2 things that seem incongruent, and I'm realizing my flaws as a sports fan live in this moment on YouTube. A, I always pin my hopes on incoming quarterbacks. I really get excited about recruiting.
It's one of the most exciting things.
It's so fun,
yeah.
man. So, for instance, Baylor's 2026 quarterback's a guy named Quinn Murphy. He plays in a private school up in Dallas. He plays for Jason Witten.
Who's? Okay.
Yeah, and I have watched his tape obsessively. We have 4 really good quarterbacks on campus at Baylor right now. I'm ready for Quinn Murphy to get to campus. So I am a geek about it. I also, though, regularly look through all the 5-star quarterbacks from every recruiting class and remind myself, like 2 of these guys were worth the hype.
We've done that before.
We've done that on the show before.
That's a frustrating
exercise.
So
I don't mean to throw water on BYU. If they get this quarterback, that's legit. Like, that's a huge win for them. And if I were a BYU fan, or if he was committing to Baylor, I would be absolutely juiced. I would be geeking about it.
Well, and another thing he does for BYU is like the media side of it. Like, this new brand of athlete, and even this young guy, you can his ties to the LDS church. He had took his official visit, I think, last weekend at BYU. So they're the last ones to have an opportunity.
I'm gonna throw that photo back up.
Yeah, they're the last ones to have an opportunity to pitch him. He's rolling around campus, and there was nothing arrogant about it, but it just is what it is. In today's universe, he's got a crew. He's got guys filming him walking around, TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah, we talked about AJ DeBansta's. DeBansta's. I said his name wrong.
You got it. So that 100% improves the profile of the school, right? Of the program, of the university. So the opportunity for a guy like that to sign with BYU, command that attention through social media, through all the different platforms he's a part of. It's really exciting for BYU. It takes you in to that same dimension that AJ DeBansa has just taken you into.
Yeah, that's what you texted me this morning that I think is difficult, and it's why I brought up like the 5-star quarterback thing.
What's difficult?
Here's what's difficult. The key difference, I think AJ DeBansa is more important than this kid, even if he comes to BYU.
Okay.
As big as college football is, and here's why. AJ DeBansa could be a top 15 NBA player by all accounts right now.
Okay.
Like these basketball kids, there's like every couple years, there's an 18-year-old LeBron and Kevin Garnett back in the day,
Yeah.
AJ DeBonsa right now, maybe even Cooper Flagg last year, who knows, who like they're basically NBA ready, but now they've got to come play in college for a year. VJ Edgecombe's kind of that way. Like VJ could have jumped straight to the NBA.
Yeah.
We got him for Ed Baylor for a year. So, whereas with a quarterback, even if you're 5 stars, and even if he lives up to being 5 stars, even if it's Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck or one of those level guys, there's a bit of a transition. And by no means are you an NFL caliber player when you're 18.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like maybe 3 years from now, this kid's impact could be that great or greater if he's that good. But as far as impact in 2025, 2026, AJ DeBonsa could change the whole athletic department. Like if he's as good as advertised, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a different.
That splash.
The two sports are different.
Yeah.
And if you're that good of a basketball player, you can win a national championship by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not how football works, right?
No, not at all.
Dylan Raiola at Nebraska might be a great NFL quarterback one day. Nebraska may not win more than 7 games. Patrick Mahomes could barely get to a bowl game at Texas Tech, and he's the best player in the sport. So like, it's just different.